Prime Minister, huge concern around what's going to happen to Ukraine when President Trump comes in next year. But does the government support Ukraine assassinations on Russian soil?
Well, you're absolutely right to say it's a critical period for Ukraine, and I've been here with key NATO allies this morning having a discussion about Ukraine. We're on HMS Iron Duke here, which is in Estonia. We've got troops up the road who are integrated as part of our NATO response. The collective view is very clear. We must put Ukraine in the strongest possible position. That means we've got to make sure they have the capability they need, the training they need, the funding that they need, and we must support Ukraine in what they're doing. This is an act of aggression by Russia that's been going on for a very, very long time, so we must stand with Ukraine at this critical period.
Are you comfortable with the assassination though?
Well, as I say, we must stand with Ukraine. I think that's a developing situation, but this morning's discussion was very clear about the strategic need for NATO to stand as we do with Ukraine in this critical period.
And on China and the allegations of spying, a Chinese spokesman today has said that the UK should stop creating trouble. Are you rethinking seeking closer relationships with China given the potential risk to our national security?
We have to be alert to the risks and challenges of China, and we are alert. But we do have a strategy of engagement, and that means where we cooperate on important issues like climate, we must do so. But we must also challenge, and we do on important issues like human rights, with frank discussions, as I've had on a number of occasions. And of course, compete when it comes to trade. But it is better to engage whilst making sure we are clear about the threats and challenges that China poses.
And just finally, on a domestic matter, can you understand the anger of WASPI women who won't get compensation, who feel that justice has not been done today?
Well, I do understand their concerns. The Ombudsman's findings were clear in relation to the maladministration, but also clear about the lack of direct financial injustice as the Ombudsman saw it, and that's why we've taken the decision that we've taken. But I do understand, of course, the concern of the WASPI women, but also, of course, I have to take into account whether it's right at the moment to impose further burden on the taxpayer, which is what it would be. So, of course, I acknowledge their concern, but we're following the findings of the Ombudsman, and it is a question of balancing those concerns with the taxpayers' obligations, which are already very high, and that finding of the Ombudsman.